Hey everybody, she's Mackenzie, he's John, I'm Frank. We're talking about the late pick five at Laurel Park Saturday. Starts in race five with a 12% takeout, 50-cent minimum wager, and lots of good stuff. Mackenzie, why don't we dive right into this race? And you got a key horse here and a single. That would be for Farrier, the 9 horse Gilda's Girl.
Absolutely. So for me, we've really been talking a lot about Farrier off the claim. This is one who I think I'm really going to lean into in single because I think there's a chance the speed can fall apart in this race. I don't necessarily think she's the quickest in here, but I think if she gets really good positioning, she definitely is able to get there in time. So if you can buy into the speed falling apart, that's exactly what I do. If it doesn't happen and we're wrong, jump right back in for that late pick four.
Had a girl. John, you use this horse too. Are either of you guys spooked at all? It is a decent sized drop first time off the claim.
I mean, I've seen a few moments like this where a notable trainer claims a horse and then drops him in class. Usually, in circumstances like this, they either win by five or they finish up the track. So I'm not quite sure if I'd pick Gilda's Girl on top. I am using her in the pick five along with a few others. She's the type who, at least for me, I could absolutely go either way on her, and I figure I'll cover myself just in case and put her on the ticket.
All right, let's head to race six, maiden special weight, 3-year-old fillies going 6 furlongs. Both of you going to spread out in this spot. I kind of feel like this could be these maiden races. There are two maiden specials at the sequence, and it could be the Brittany Russell show here. You're using Brittany's horse Complexity Jane, the 5, Mackenzie, as well as a couple others.
Right, and that's exactly it. I wasn't quite sold on whether or not it would be the Brittany Russell show, so I wanted to really cover, and that's why I end up singling in the first. So here, Complexity Jane comes from a mare who notched the maiden win going a mile. The Grand Dam was a graded stakes, placed dirt sprinter, a half sibling in Roman Giant was a really precocious 2-year-old, another stakes placed as a dirt sprinter. So I just lean in there, but I want to make sure I cover myself because I think this is a competitive field.
John, I want to just grab one other horse that you're using, which is Baby Lady for Damon Dilla DeVico, shifting out of the Lindsay Schultz barn. Figs don't really stack up. What do you see?
I really like horses who take a big step forward in their second career start. In Baby Lady's case, she made her um, debut at Ellis, really did nothing, ended up being well beaten. Second time out at Keeneland, taking a slight drop in class, showed a lot of early speed, which did not do at first asking, opened up a clear advantage up the backstretch, held in until last eighth, gave way, improved her net figure by 15 points. So it was a pretty big leap forward from her debut. I got to figure if she takes even another step, a slight step forward at third asking, she has a big shot. And in a race like this, where a lot of horses have pretty blank form, or in some cases, no form, I'll give her a shot in the pick five. And if she wins at a good price, I'll set myself up very nicely the rest of the way.
Okay, that's we'll show this ticket in a little bit, but both of you going to spread out there. John's going to go 5 deep. Mackenzie going to go 4 deep in the sixth race, leg 2 of the pick five. On to the seventh, the third leg. This is an open 7,500 claimer and another key horse here for you, Mackenzie. That's going to be the 5 horse El Delari. Antonio Machado gets Jamie Rodriguez up.
Right. And for me, this is one who I thought had a troubled trip to back when dropping to the level. So I like that it really for me is getting a different group in here. I think he's run against some really tough, hard knocking 2-turn horses. He's able to handle the mile. We saw it back in October, albeit an off the turf event, but I think it's right there. I think he's going to be end up forwardly placed in here and just kind of be within striking distance the whole way around.
Now you are going to use another horse in here as well in Oxide. You both use Oxide. Uh, this is a horse that he's sort of an interesting horse. He was running against better and had some pretty good tries. Comes back in for the tag and not so much.
I know
I,
Lacey had called him the house horse, really hard knocking type. As you mentioned, he's earned almost $300,000 and is a 12-time winner. I am giving him a pass on that last race. It was his first start off an 8-month layoff. I got to figure he's going to improve second off the bench. And if he does, he probably wins. So I'll give him a chance on my ticket at least.
Yeah, and both of you are going to do that. All right. That was the 7th. On to the 8th. All right. So the 8th race is one of these starter optional claimers. I do not like these conditions, but that's probably just me. For horses that have started for a claiming price of 20 or less in their last 3 starts, or a 30 claimer. And the whole question in this race, I think, John, and we'll start with you because this is a key horse for you, is Supreme Law. Where'd that come from, and can it come back again?
Yeah, he's really a fascinating horse, but it's why, even though I'm not sure if I'll pick him on top, I made him one of my spotlight horses. He won last time out against conditioned rivals at Parks by 26 lengths. If you watch the replay, he was just opening up with each and every stride, had a big lead on the back stretch, never stopped. Looks like a flight line in the Pacific Classic out there.
You look like Secretariat.
Yeah. We're going to prison at speed figure of 1E of 111, far and away a career top. I mean, he has a lot of early speed, especially if his entry made My Last Mission doesn't go. He's going to have an easy time out there. I don't know if he'll quite duplicate that race, but based off of that last effort, he has to be respected because he could decline 20 points off that race and still win.
Still be right there. No, and
Right.
the thing about it that, sometimes you see a horse that gets a big figure like that, where they get away easy, set a modest tempo and then come home nicely. This horse goes 22 and change. He was working to get the lead early and then just never stopped it. But it was crazy. So, Mackenzie, I assume that's why you're not going to say you're going to use that horse. You're not going to single on that horse. Are you going to use the other hat? If Jamie Ness, the trainer, scratches Supreme Law, do you stick with My Last Mission?
That is the funny question I kept asking myself. Last week we saw him run both, and I thought, okay, 2-for-1 deal. I love when that happens. In here, I don't know if I do stick with My Last Mission. It would be easy to, right? But I almost would rather add a different horse in here, maybe Mo's Perfect or Penny Loafer. I think they'll get a little bit more value. I really like the 5 just in the ability to work out a tracking trip, but I do worry if the 1 shows up. You just skipped over the muddy track. We'll see if that happens again. That was his 3rd time ever routing. But if he's left alone, he could carry it all the way, and we've seen them do that a lot lately.
Yeah. All right. So Masacato, the 5, that's another farrier horse in a compact 6 betting interest, 7 horse field here in the 8th. And on to the finale, the 9th race. You guys are both going to key on a horse. It's the 5 horse here, Durs Smart. Mackenzie, it's a Brittany Russell horse. A lot of things to like about this horse.
Right. Here's one: first time gelding, first time Lasix, half to a graded stakes winning sprinter, clearly unhinged. The mare retired a maiden, but the Grand Dam was a graded stakes winning sprinter and middle distance type. I think the New York effort is sort of interesting. Clearly, they liked what they had on that debut effort. It's not like this is a New York bred that they took up there to one of those state bred restricted races. So for me, I think this is a horse who's really just going to appreciate getting back to the mile here.
John, this is a key for you as well. What are you seeing? Are you seeing anything additional to what Mackenzie just mentioned?
Well, I want to know also he raced at Aqueduct on the same day that post time ran in the Go Mile. So I'm sure Brittany figured if I'm sending up post time, I might as well send up this guy as well. Maiden races on Go Mile day are typically very tough. This one had a pretty tough setup that day. He was pressed through fast fractions by a horse named Treaty of Rome, who won this race and then came back to finish second in the Mucho Macho Man at Gulfstream Park back on January 4th. The other 3 horses who finished ahead of Dose Smart that day have come back to place in maiden races. So it was a pretty tough field. This looks like a much easier bunch. I got to figure Dose Smart is going to have a much easier time on the lead in this race.
Yeah, and gelded Lasix on, so a couple of useful changes there. But having said all that, Mackenzie, you are not going to single this horse.
I've been bitten by singling. I'm very tempted. If I were to single in another spot, this is the one who I think you definitely could. I just felt like if I've made it this far to the end of the day and this is a horse who's going to take a lot of money, why not try and bolster things with a little bit more value? Yeah, I think the 3, if we see him run, has been very good. If we end up seeing a scratch, I might add the 1 in there. That's one who offers some inside speed, has improved since stretching out, and I think this 1 turn mile might really suit him. The 6 and the 4, both very good horses, and so for me, I think it's a tough group. They might be up against it with the Brittany Russell runner, but they definitely figure against here.
All right, so that's going to do it. We'll show these tickets here. Any last thoughts on this pick 5 sequence, Mackenzie?
You're making me think I should single in the last, but I like having a little bit of value here. And I feel like the front end horses have just had their way for the last few weeks. So I'm hoping maybe some of these closers will get the job done.
John?
I mean, psychologically, I don't like singling on the end. I don't like having the big horse wait all the way to the last part. But Joe Smut has been facing much better in his last few. He has a lot of early speed, obviously going out for a powerful barn. He's the most likely winner in the sequence.
All right, that's going to do it. Late pick 5 starts in the 5th race. Post time for the 5th is estimated to be 2:29, 12% takeout. Laurel Park, 9 race card on Saturday. Good luck, everybody.